Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Minecraft Mining Podcast here on the Forever Bedrock Realm. So, guys, we have a different episode than what we normally do, and that is because instead of interviewing a fellow Forever Bedrock member player, we are actually going to sit down and have a chat with a player by the name of, well, if you're an American, his name is Thor, but if you are from Norway, which is where he is from, it is Tor. So he is actually a map creator on Planet Minecraft, and he has a map out now called Unsung Hero, and it's in the beta format. Now, I went ahead and played through that because I do have the Java version. It is a Java-only map, and, I mean, the kid definitely has some real talent at doing this. I mean, this map is impressive. So we're going to go ahead and get him on the line, and then after we get done talking with him, guys, we're going to sit down and talk about Minecraft 1.18.3, which a snapshot just came out for. Fine. All right, guys, we are here with Tor. And I did say that correctly, right?
Yeah, that's actually quite good.
All right.
Better than most other Americans.
You taught me well.
Yeah.
So, Tor, the first thing we like to do whenever we have a guest on the show is basically get to know the creator. So I told everyone you're a Java map creator in adventure mode. You want to go ahead and tell them a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go ahead and talk about your map and everything like that.
Yeah, so I have played Minecraft for a very long time. Actually, I used to think that the first version I played was 1.4. But actually, just today I watched one of your videos from earlier, where you talked about the web version of Minecraft. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then I remembered that I actually used to play that version myself.
Oh, wow.
I totally forgotten, and then I remembered it as I watched your video. So.
That's awesome, because normally people that I talk to are like later players, but you're one of the OGs like me then, huh?
Yeah, yes. So then I played that first actually on a school computer. We used to play that in school.
Oh, wow.
That was way back in like 3rd grade or 2nd grade or something. And then I remember I went to my friend, and he had it on his computer. And he also had an extra computer, so we could play together.
Oh, awesome.
So that was really my first like proper experience with Minecraft.
Minecraft, yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, and from then I was just kind of hooked, and I remember I went home and begged my parents to get it. And at first they didn't want me to get it because they thought it was violent, like with the zombies and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So I said I could get the demo version because that was only creative, right?
Oh, okay.
But eventually they gave in, and I got the proper game. And from then on, for pretty much all of middle school, I just played Minecraft like an hour or two a day, more or less every day. I remember I used to wake up like earlier than I had to, so I could play Minecraft before school. So yeah, but then I played more or less only single player for like the first 5 years or so, maybe of playing Minecraft. I played only single player. I played mostly creative too, and my friends were playing Minecraft too, and I remember I used to make small adventure maps that I made just for them. I didn't upload them anywhere. I wasn't really engaged in the Minecraft community in any way, just me and my friends. And I remember I made the Helm's Deep map from Lord of the Rings for my friend, and yeah, just very fun times.
Yeah, I was telling everybody I just got done playing through your Unsung Hero, correct?
Yeah, that's great.
And I have to say, you have a real talent for map creating. And I was trying to, I know you're supposed to like play through it, but I'm sitting there trying to like look at like every little detail and everything and stuff you put in. You have a real knack for just building in general.
Yeah, thank you. I had a lot of fun making that map and just creating the environments and every little detail and stuff.
And,
It's been a lot of fun.
and you said that map took you over 100 hours to complete.
Yeah, that's at least what I posted on my Planet Minecraft page. But I'm afraid it's actually even more time than that.
And it's not even finished, right?
No, that's just the first 20 minutes or 15 to 20 minutes. It's just the first dungeon, basically. And it's quite short, even. But I started the project, I think it was like in October of last year. And at that time, it was quite a while since I had played Minecraft recently, but I hadn't played with the commands and that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously a lot had changed too on the command side, and it was just a long while since I'd done any map making. So when I first got into it, there was a lot of stuff that I had to like learn again, and I got to a point where I made maybe 20 minutes or so of gameplay, but my code was so buggy and crappy to work with that I just decided to scrap it and start from scratch.
Oh, wow. So you technically did it twice almost.
Yeah, that's great. So I made 2 beta versions that are about 20 minutes. But I'm very, very glad that I decided to scrap the first beta version, because starting from scratch with the code just made everything a lot more easier. And with that old beta, I basically got to a point where I couldn't really make it any longer or any better, because whenever I added something, I got like 10 new bugs. I just didn't know how my code worked, so we thought I should just start from scratch.
That's actually what we talk about a lot on here, is how Minecraft itself is just buggy in general, because the code was written so long ago that, like, they weren't expecting it to become this massive game that it is nowadays. They were just expecting it to be a couple years and done. And now it's like this big thing.
It was like made by one person too.
Yeah, Notch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the command, the whole command language that Minecraft commands and data packs and stuff is written in. That whole language is just difficult. It's kind of difficult to understand or to optimize, because it's just very difficult to know what is demanding for the hardware and what's not. So.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes you end up with like really, really extremely demanding data packs, and you have no idea why, and you're not really doing anything, and it's just a tiny little mistake, and a lot of that. So
now, like all the gold coins and stuff like that, say like the skeletons with their shields and all that, and the short sword and all that. Now, did you have to design all the weapons and everything yourself?
Yeah. Everything is made from scratch. So really, what I wanted to do with this map is just I just wanted to make a very unique combat experience. So I wanted to make something that was very unlike any very different from default Minecraft combat. Because I'm not sure if you agree, but I find the default Minecraft combat to be pretty boring and just very lame. So
Yeah, I mean, that's something we actually talked about now, because the current updates coming out are all parity updates for, of course, combat and armor and all that. And, I mean, once you get to the netherite level in the vanilla base game, like, there's no challenge anymore, really. Even on hard difficulty.
Yeah. So what I wanted to do with this map was just to make fun combat. That's really the only important thing. And that's like priority number 1, is make fun, engaging combat for the player. So I don't know if you noticed, but the movement of the player is different from vanilla.
Yeah, that threw me off actually for a bit, because it almost felt smoother in a way.
Yeah. So what I've done is that sprinting forward is pretty much the same as sprinting in vanilla, but then sprinting sideways is like 15 or 20% or something faster than vanilla.
Oh wow!
So you can strafe out more effectively and actually dodge bullets from skeleton or arrows. and I just felt like that's made flow a lot better.
Yeah, it definitely felt smoother, a more smooth experience, I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's my goal. So it's great that you felt that.
So you almost literally constructed the best way to say it is like you built a game within a game, because I mean with everything you've changed and everything.
Yeah, that's my philosophy. With this project, I'm not really looking at Minecraft or at other adventure maps as inspiration. Rather, I'm like comparing myself and this project to other games, and yeah, really trying to hold myself to pretty high standards. And so far, it's working out well.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Now,
And also, what I also wanted to do with the combat was to have more than one weapon, because in vanilla it's like you use the sword and maybe use the axe if you want for more damage. But here I wanted to have essentially 4 fundamental types of weapons that you switch between and are useful in different situations and stuff like that. So you have the short sword that has that special stun ability.
yeah, that's what I was using most of the time. I did get a axe too, like a big axe or something like that.
Yeah, and there's the hammer that has a really slow time to recharge, but then it does a lot of damage and it can remove armor. And actually, that was inspired. I don't know if you maybe you've played Halo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was inspired by the Halo games, where you have the elites, for example.
Oh yeah.
The energy shields, and then you use one type of weapon to remove the shield, and then use the other type of weapon to finish them off. So that was kind of my inspiration for the weapon system with the different weapons that have different abilities and stuff.
See, now that's really unique to look at a completely different franchise that has nothing to do with Minecraft and just get the idea to put it in. That's awesome.
Yeah, so actually, if you look carefully and keep Halo in mind, I think you can spot a lot of things that are inspired by that franchise. I actually discovered Halo quite recently, this fall of last year. And I would say it's like one of it's my second favorite game franchise after Minecraft.
Awesome.
And I've taken a lot of inspiration from Halo and also Doom, the first-person shooter. Especially the movement is inspired by Doom.
Oh wow. Yeah. So I also noticed this current beta supports multiplayer, right?
Yeah.
So you can play up to 4 players. Is there going to ever be like any more, or is that like the limit? How's that work?
For like the current dungeons and stuff, I think it would be just absolutely crazy to have more than 4 people, because it would just have so many mobs, and yeah, it's really the limit is 4 for the moment. So if I were to have any more than 4 players, which I might, that sounds very cool, but then I would have to design dungeons completely differently, and yeah, maybe I will have some multiplayer only modes and stuff. I think that's possible. That will definitely be fun, but for the moment it's up to 4 players.
Awesome. Now I gotta ask, because I've played Java, but I don't consider myself a Java player. I haven't. I mostly play Bedrock Edition, so I'm used to a controller. So like a mouse and a keyboard, is kind of like a stretch for me, but that's, where I played most of my Minecraft when I started. So my question is, how long does it take you to beat that level?
That's actually fun, because since the version that's like 1% of Minecraft now, that version is already outdated, so since then I've added a special speedrunning feature, and that feature will actually be in the next beta release. So that's a feature that allows you to, it basically just counts the seconds it takes from your start to your finish.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only available on legendary difficulty. And I think it was 149 seconds or something.
So that's what, 2.5 minutes or something like that?
Yeah. But I posted a time in you know, I have a small Discord group for the map. With like 8 members, I think, at the moment. So I posted my time there, and within like 1 day, another person had beat it.
Oh, wow.
So that's very fun to see as a developer, to see people playing your map and actually being better than yourself at it.
Yeah, that's wild. Like I said, I wasn't trying to speedrun it, but I was trying to beat it. Man, that map was kicking my butt.
But you played on the normal difficulty, or?
I just started playing. I didn't change anything, so probably normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was tough. I was like, oh, wow. Like, it was actually challenging, which, like you said, is a good thing.
Actually, it might, if you don't change anything, it might actually default to legendary.
Oh.
Since that's what I've tested it in and play. That's what I play when I test, because, you know, I tested the hardest difficulty because as a developer, you're always quite good at your own game. So if I make it so that normal is challenging to me, it will be way too hard for playing for the first time.
Oh, that is a good point. I never thought of that.
Yeah. No, that's actually quite an important thing to think of as a developer of adventure maps or games or anything, I think.
Yeah, that's wild. That's something I never thought of.
Way too hard.
Huh.
Yeah. So the default might actually be legendary.
Oh. That's why it was so, like, it was frustratingly hard.
Yeah, that's maybe not intentional.
Well, I'll have to rerun the map then and try it again. See if I can change the difficulty.
Because it should ask you when you start it what difficulty you want to play at.
I don't remember that. It could have. Yeah. I'm new to adventure maps too, so there probably could have been a lot of stuff going on that I was just missing.
No, I decided I've tried to make it as user friendly as possible and require as little as possible from the player. Make everything as obvious as possible and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, myself being mostly a Bedrock Edition player and not playing like on Java for a bit, the hardest thing, and I'm not kidding you, for me personally, was actually starting the game, because it said click here to start the game, and I'm sitting there clicking my mouse, and I'm like, wait, I can't move my mouse. How do I do this? And it took me a second to realize you had to hit tab for the chat. But then once I got to that point, then I was rolling, because then I remember, you need to hit tab to talk with the armorer in the beginning and all that, and I'm like, okay, now it's only because I'm not a Java player is why I think I struggled, but I think a Java player would be able to just roll through that right away.
Yeah, because I noticed all the other people you had on these podcasts previously were Bedrock players.
Yeah, they're everybody on the realm that we play on.
Yeah, so I'm the first guest to not be from the realm.
Yeah, actually, well, yeah, that, and you're the first technically Java player to be on here, and also you're the first content map creator, because normally it's just YouTubers and streamers that I have on here. So
I hope you can get any other map creators on here, because I think there are a lot of other talented people in the community.
Yeah, I mean, I've scrolled through Planet Minecraft. I don't use it all the time. I go there every once in a while, so I'm fairly new to Planet Minecraft and kind of feeling everything out where it is, but just some of the talent and just the way people think about things and how they plug them in is just absolutely insane. Same thing with your map, just playing through it. It's just like using you said you haven't played Minecraft in a while, but you use the new deep slate blocks amazingly.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. But I should also say that I didn't build everything myself. have a builder or two builders actually. They're my friends from real life that have also helped me with especially the room with the big cross.
Yeah.
You see that? Yeah. That was built mainly by my friend, who's very good at building.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's definitely very, very talented. Even that painting room towards the end. That's such like a unique idea. Like I didn't know what to expect when I walked in there, but it's just so cool just to walk through it like that.
That's great. No, that was my idea actually. I just wanted to have a room that was kind of creepy and deserted and just. Yeah, I wanted to just make the whole dungeon have a very creepy and sort of mystical, deserted kind of vibe.
Yeah, you definitely achieved it in that room, and I mean the lighting and everything was like right on point too, because it kind of had that dark lighting, but it wasn't so dark that you couldn't see, which is nice because that's like a hard thing to balance in games.
Also, the lighting depends a lot on what the shaders you use. I don't know if did you use any shaders when you played?
No, I just ran vanilla textures.
Yeah. I think it's also important to make the map good in vanilla too, because actually the majority of players are probably gonna play just vanilla without anything.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if my laptop can handle shaders, so.
No, most people can't.
I heard.
Shaders are pretty unoptimized. I think you're very demanding.
Yeah, my fans were kicking on even running your map, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's honestly quite insane how differently optimized Bedrock and Java is.
Yeah, it's almost kind of sad because, I mean, Java's been the platform for 10 years, you figure, and Bedrock really has only been around for like 4 or 5, but Bedrock just runs so much cleaner than Java.
Yeah, I think it's quite a shame, honestly, because just imagine how amazing it would have been if we had that level of optimization and the smoothness on Java. We could have been able to run it on any kind of hardware. I think that's super impressive what Bedrock has done in that regard.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. Now, with your map, do you have, like, you said you already put 100 hours in. Do you know about how much longer you have to complete the map or a release date or anything like that?
No, but I'm trying to limit myself to 1 year. I don't want the project to go, and that was like the plan ever since the start. Because if I didn't set like an end release date, I don't think I would have ever been able to finish it. So setting a release date since the very beginning, I think is a smart thing to do. So I'm planning on releasing it this fall or late summer, the final version. At least, hopefully, before school starts.
Yeah. And then, so how much bigger is the actual game compared to just the beta version? Like, how much more will be added?
That's a difficult question, I guess. It's very difficult to predict how much content you're going to make. And there's always issues and bugs and stuff that take a lot more time than you predict.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess maybe like this is 1/10 or maybe 1/20 of the whole game when it's finished.
Oh, wow.
I think, yeah. Because really what I've been spending, like most of those 100 hours have been spent making the fundamental systems and like the combat system, the camera system, and the system for spawning in mobs at the correct time, and checkpoint system. There are like probably 10 different systems that each take a lot of time, but once you have those fundamentals in place, it becomes just easier and easier to add more content later.
Yeah.
And that's just really important, I think, to have the fundamentals in place before you start making anything that will make it into the final thing.
Yeah, I noticed all those, like, I guess you could call them cutscenes, kind of like how they zoom in on the room and everything like that. And even the soundtrack to that game, like, I know you say before you start the level to turn your music on, And that's like something I really don't think of. And I was like, okay, I'll turn it on. Dude, the soundtrack for that game is insanely good. But it's different though. That's the thing. Like it's not a soundtrack you would expect to be in a Minecraft game. Like it's like
Yeah.
opera, kind of classical, I guess you could say. Is that the genre?
Mm. That's thank you very much. That's great to hear. There's actually somebody that said they were a musician that played the map and said they really enjoyed the music. So it seems like I've hit it or hit a nail on the head or whatever with the music. That's great. But I think what makes it very cool is that you don't expect it, exactly like you said. It's very different and yeah, very unique, and just adds to the whole atmosphere and feeling of the map.
Yeah, like it definitely like I almost just wanted to sit there and listen to the music, and
Yeah.
I kind of did in the beginning because, like I said, I couldn't figure out that tab brought up the chat menu in Java, so I had to keep watching the beginning cutscene. But I mean, it was worth it because the music was so good, so I didn't really even mind.
Yeah, no, that particular piece is just absolutely fantastic. I was just as soon as I heard it, I thought it has to go into my map. You know,
Hmm.
perfect. Just so, just yeah, it's great. It's by a composer called Antonin Dvorak, um, somewhere from Eastern Europe, I think. And it's just a fantastic piece.
Yeah, definitely. That
And
knocks it out of
also
the park.
the best thing about the music here is that it's copyright free, you know, because it's classical, so the copyright has expired.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So that's
So
even better.
pretty much all classical music is copyright free. Uh, or at least the sheet music is, but the recordings could be copyrighted, but I managed to find a recording that wasn't copyrighted.
Oh wow, that's awesome. So even like content creators like myself, if I had a way to record Java, I could put it up there. But they could like live stream it and all that because we're constantly getting hit with, those DMCA's or whatever they are for,
Yeah,
music and all that in the background.
yeah, that's probably something I should tell explicitly to on my Planet Minecraft page. That because people might not realize that it's actually copyright free.
Yeah. Now, do you have any other maps or anything like that on Planet Minecraft, or is this your only one?
Mm, no, this is actually my only project that's uploaded on Planet Minecraft. I have made a few other maps, but that's from like ages ago and never released. I'm not really worthy of being released either. um, I have another submission on Planet Minecraft. I think it's called like the Doom-like strafing movement or something.
Hmm.
It's essentially just all the code I used in this map to make the custom movements
Oh, okay.
with the strafing and stuff.
So,
And I'm also thinking of uploading many other of those fundamental systems that I use in the map because I think other people could like to use them for their own maps.
so other content creators can share, like, I guess the code is the right word. Is that or the systems
Because
or?
it is actually it's a proper code. You could call it. It's files. It's not command blocks like you would have on Bedrock, for example. It's actually files in data packs, as they're called.
Huh.
Yeah.
So, since you've done all this, you have to know computer coding then on top of everything else too, right?
Yeah, I know a little bit of Python because that's like that we use Python a little bit in school. Not nearly enough, unfortunately, but I just really think that coding and programming and computers and just systems in general are very fascinating. So I like to spend a lot of time in my free time learning Python, for example, and the Minecraft language is called MC function, Yeah, it's just the same language that you use in normal commands in the chat and command blocks and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's way beyond me.
I want to learn C#. Is another language. It's especially used for game development. I'm interested in learning. So
yeah, that's crazy, man. That you, I mean, you're younger than I am. We discussed that, and I mean, it's just crazy that you have all this knowledge and skill at your age, and just to be able to do that stuff is, I mean, kind of shocking, mind blowing, really.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
But I'll leave your link and everything for people who are listening to your Planet Minecraft account down in the the section below the comment section, so they can go download your map if they have Java. Is there anything else you want to talk about your map or anything like that there, Tor?
No, nothing in particular. Just that I also have a Discord server.
You'll have to send me the link for that.
Yeah, it's also linked on the Planet Minecraft page, and that's just a server for this map Unsung Hero, and we're 8 members now, and we were like a week ago we were 3 members, so we're growing quite quickly.
Nice.
And that's just the place to get. I also post exclusive beta releases that I post more often there. On Planet Minecraft I might post a beta release like once a month, but on there I upload one once a week or something.
Awesome.
So go check the Discord server out, and you might actually even be able to contribute to the project, because recently a lot of ideas and stuff I've actually gotten from people on Discord, and they've been very helpful with testing the map and just making sure everything's working correctly before I upload it. So if you want to take part in that, feel free to join my Discord server.
All right, yeah, and that link will be down below, and as soon as you send me the link, you'll have 9 members because I'll be joining. So look at that, you already grew again.
That's great.
All right, Tor, I thank you for your time, taking time out of your day to talk about it. And if everybody would go download his map off of Planet Minecraft, like I said, link below, you'll definitely enjoy it. And it's only going to get better from here on out. I mean, you're just going to keep adding to it and building it and making it bigger and bigger. So, all right, Tor, well, thank you again, man, for doing this.
Thank you for having me here.
Alright guys, so how about that interview with Tor? That kid is insanely talented at what he does, and I hope a lot of you guys actually go down and download his adventure map. Like I said, I'm primarily a Bedrock player, but I went and downloaded it, and I mean, it's challenging, but it's really cool. I mean, he spent, like we said, over 100 hours on it, and, it's maybe 10% completed. He built it from the ground up, and it's a blast. It really is. And it's a good challenge. It's different than regular vanilla combat. So if you're looking for a change, guys, please go download the map and give it a try. I mean, you will not be disappointed. But you guys know that after we get done talking with our guest, of course, we move on to all the big stuff that's happening in the Minecraft world. And I think I originally said that there wasn't a lot going on this week, but every time I say that and then I start filming an episode, a bunch of stuff always happens. So, of course, since we started this episode, Hermitcraft Season 9 kicked off. So, you guys know that the majority of them all took a break. Some of them were still doing Minecraft content. A couple others did, like, other games. But they basically started the season again. And, this is in the new Caves and Cliffs update, finally. The same as Forever Bedrock has been in for 3 months now? Because I think it came out in December, if I remember correctly. So they finally started that. Of course, they already started with the absurd builds. And, I mean, like, Scar's main base is, like, what a normal person's base would be over the course of a year. And it's, like, a giant tree. But if you guys haven't gotten a chance to check any of them out, of course, always go check them out. They're, great for motivation and all that, and ideas, and really anything. Those guys, it's their job to play Minecraft, so they can push all of the regular players to get better or give ideas too, just like we try to push people to build better, bigger, and all that. So, but yeah, definitely pretty cool start to the season. I have managed to watch a few of the Hermits. There's not enough time in the day really to stay up to date on every single one of them. Who did I watch? I watched BOO. I watched Mumbo, and I mean Scar was with Mumbo and Green most of the time. I did watch Green's kinda, and then I actually just watched today BOO. So that's the majority of the Hermits. I mean, granted, yeah, I think there's like 10 or 15 more, but you just don't have enough time in the course of a day to sit down and watch 20 episodes on the same realm. So, I mean, that's the one good thing about Forever Bedrock. There's 3 of us that produce episodes, and one of us consistently live streams. So, it's not all at the same time, and you're not overwhelmed by content. So, make sure you guys subscribe to everyone on Forever Bedrock. See, look at that product placement. That was smooth there. But guys, the big reason you all come here is, of course, for the changes to Minecraft. So, since the last time we talked, there has actually been 2 beta releases for the Bedrock Edition, 1.18.3 and 1.18.3.2. So, 1.18.3, which was the one that came out a couple days prior to 1.18.3.2. Oh my gosh, these tongue twisters. But basically, it was a parity update in terms of armor. So we haven't really had that. If you guys remember, we talked about the last parity update. It was actually for like combat. Remember, mobs deal the same amount of damage on Java and Bedrock, and I think it was PvP too. So like the game remembers like quarter, half hearts of damage and stuff like that. So your damage is consistent over time rather than doing less damage than you actually are supposed to. But I actually have the changelog for 1.18.3 right here, and we'll go ahead and we'll bring that up. So let's see here. Am I on the right one? I am on the right one. So first off, the first thing is for the Deep Dark. So I'm assuming now they are going to release the Deep Dark in 1.19. Like that is actually going to be the update. So I'm pretty sure it's happening because all of these beta releases have Deep Dark fixes in them. So basically what they did is, okay, all right, yeah, there it is. So they implemented Skulker, and yes, this is going to get confusing, tweaks in preparation for the Warden, and basically the Skulk Shrieker now listens to a Skulk sensor, and the threat level will cause the Warden to spawn in the future, and that now decreases over time. So basically, anytime Skulk Shrieker is alerted that, hey, a player's there, then, it will spawn the Warden, basically. Now, scrolling down, there's a bunch of stability stuff and gameplay stuff, as there always is, but of course we are here for the vanilla parity. And there are actually probably about 10 or 12 parity changes, and that's a good thing because these games are slowly getting closer and closer together. So the first parity change, and this affects Pocket Edition, so Minecraft Bedrock. In creative mode, you're no longer pushed by liquid. That was a thing in Java, but evidently in Bedrock Edition, you just kept getting pushed. So they finally fixed that. Farmer villagers can now use bone meal on crops, and they can turn excess seeds into bone meal. So basically, villagers can do what we can with the composter and make their own bone meal. Of course, I would start getting a dry spot in my throat when I start talking. So the protection enchantment now properly works on most damage types. That one I am actually unsure of because it's kind of vague in the notes, so it doesn't really go into too much detail. There was an issue where your health regeneration could be visual only. So basically your little hearts in the corner would fill up, but you'd still be at the health that you were prior to that. I've never had that bug. So another one they fixed is landing on a stalagmite is properly considered fall damage now. So I don't know if you guys have noticed from walking around these new caves, stalagmites and stalactites are everywhere. And if you can jump on them all you want, you never like take damage. Only unless like you fall on them a couple of blocks, but you can jump up and down on them. They're basically like the old cactus. I don't know if you guys remember that in Bedrock Edition, but you could like stand on top of a cactus and it wouldn't do anything to you. And I'm pretty sure they kind of just implemented the same kind of fix to, of course, stalagmites. Let's see. They fixed issues where damage and vulnerability wasn't properly being applied. I'm not sure. Once again, that one's kind of vague, so who knows? They fixed an issue where the protection enchantments actually offer you too much protection. So that's something that we've never really heard of, that we're actually getting too much protection. Normally it would be too little protection, which is exactly what I said earlier. Okay, well it seems like they fixed and unfixed the same thing at the same time, doesn't it? That's the thing about these changelogs. They can be kind of vague, and they're kind of hard to tell exactly what they're talking about. And like I said, I am not a beta player. I just don't want to play the game before like it actually comes out in its final form. And like we've discussed earlier, I would much rather have smaller, more frequent updates throughout the year, like how the game used to be, rather than 1 or 2 giant updates throughout the year, because then the rest of the year is just spent patching bugs. This coffee is not helping. Alright, so the next parity change is Absorption Hearts. So if you guys eat a golden apple, your hearts, you get like those 2 extra hearts at the top of your health bar. Those are Absorption Hearts. They no longer stay yellow if you're withered. That's a Java change. That matches Java now, obviously. So they added armor toughness. So this is something new to Bedrock Edition. So basically, diamond armor and netherite armor have a toughness of 2 and 3, and that's respectively, of course. And they tweaked armor reduction calculation to account for toughness. So what that basically means is netherite armor will now reduce damage more than diamond armor. Basically, they were the same thing. The only difference was that with netherite, you had the knockback resistance. Well, now netherite actually protects you more. You'll get, less damage dealt to you. So that is pretty cool. But with that being said, actually, the next change in the changelog is actually lowered the amount of knockback resistance granted by netherite armor. So that's going to be something that I'm kind of curious to see how that plays out. Really, the knockback... Really, the knockback only affected PvP. There isn't much in the vanilla game that has knockback. So, that was mostly, of course, like a vanilla PvP thing. And the last parity change for 1.18.3 is punching deals less damage now. So if you ever want to go slap your neighbor in Bedrock, it's going to deal less damage. So, of course, there's a couple graphical changes and stuff to the marketplace like there always is for beta pre-releases. But what I'm actually most interested in is the mob changes. So, Ravengers will now attack the Wandering Trader. So, that's a change. He'll have to actually... He'll probably not... Well, probably go invisible if a raid happens to spawn when he's around. So, another change that they added that was pretty massive, and it kind of got, swept under the rug, and I don't think anyone noticed this until, actually the day of filming this. But we have the Shulker duplication now, or the Shulker breeding, if you want to call it that. I really don't think that's what it should be called, but that's, what they're calling it. Basically, there's some updates for that. So shulkers no longer like to occupy the same block as another shulker. So if you guys have seen, I mean, Bedrock, or not Bedrock, Java's had this for a couple months, I believe. And any of the farms on there, just go look them up. They're pretty much like the same thing. That's, you know, they all set up the same. Basically, the shulker gets shot by, what is it, a snowman typically, and then he like hits himself, which causes him to breed himself and or duplicate himself, or however you want to say it, and then the new one spawns in an opposite spot from him. I really don't know why I have such a dry spot in my throat today, guys. Normally I don't have that when doing this podcast, but we've moved on to some delicious water here, so hopefully that'll help me out. The next two changes, aside from that one, are also about shulkers. And that's actually a good thing. Shulkers now prioritize attaching to neighboring block faces before trying to teleport away. And shulkers now stay attached to the current attached block face if it is valid, instead of switching to an upright position. So hopefully that means in 1.19 we will be able to use shulker farms. Because right now on the realm we have the, I believe it's a data pack? I don't know. But it's from Foxy No-Tails, I believe, also. That one I also am not sure of. But it basically drops more shulker shells, but it doesn't really ever work. I don't go to the end on the realm, and that's only because of potential lag. I know even in single player, the end can be really laggy when you're just flying around. So, you know, if it's laggy in single player, I can only imagine what it's like on a, you know, internet server, basically. So I just avoid it. That's more of like Freb's territory, and he's the one who obviously always gets the elytras and all that stuff for the server. Now, of course, there were like a couple other changes in 1.18.3, but it's all like the computery stuff. Basically stuff that our guest tours would know a lot about, but I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me, and if you're a basic player, it's not really going to matter to you. But now we get to move on to the next beta preview, and that's 1.18.3.22. I'm sorry. So this one is actually kind of focused on the Allays, and you guys remember them from the mob vote. Sorry, I have to keep cutting it, guys, but I have a cough that will not go away. But you guys remember those from the mob vote for 1.19. They beat out the Copper Golem, and they beat out some kind of face thing, I remember. Was that it? Anyways, the Allay, they're the ones that, you know, can go get you resources. So the changelog actually starts right off the rip talking about the Allay. So the Allay can collect the same items from the world as it holds in its hand. So a lot of people thought when the Allay first was announced that, like, if you gave it like a cocoa bean, it would just travel to the jungle and go pick up cocoa beans. Well, no, it'll grab them from like your chests and like around the player. It doesn't like, it's not basically like an AI that just goes rogue and just picks up stuff for you in the world, you know. Now, if an Allay holds an item it got from a player, it will follow that player. So that's basically the follow command for the Allay. You just give it an item. The Allay is able to drop items at note blocks now, and that's actually kind of useful because if you play a note block, the Allay knows to drop items off at the note block for the next 30 seconds. So any items in the Allay's inventory it attempts to give to its owner, that's kind of the same thing. So the Allay, where it spawns, so, I mean, you guys are probably going to want to go get one. I know when it comes out, I want to, you know, play around with it. So the Allay will spawn sometimes in the Pillager Outpost cages. You guys know those jail cells that are outside of Pillager Outposts, those things, and they will also spawn in Woodland Mansions. So that will actually kind of garner some interest in Woodland Mansions. those kind of went to the wayside. I mean, really, Woodland Mansions are a pain because they're so infrequent. I mean, it makes them cool that they're infrequent, but the problem is, like, there's nothing really worthwhile going inside for. Yeah, sure, Totems of Undying, like early game, but then again, you have raids, and you can just do a raid and get Totems of Undying. So, I don't know. To me, Woodland Mansions are almost kind of a waste anymore. They were cool when they first came out because that was the only source of Totems of Undying. But now that we have raids, it's not really that big of a deal, right? Alright, so this one also focused a lot on the Deep Dark. So, last update, the one we were just talking about prior to this, there wasn't that many fixes, but now there is a lot. So, a lot of these I really don't understand, but, that's what it is. So the big thing about this is the Warden himself is not physically into the game yet for Bedrock. So, if you guys are looking to get a beta where the Warden is, he's not here yet. And that's like a big, bold note up top. So basically, the first kind of update is all about the skulks and skulk catalysts and all that. Basically, it's how it works for mob XP. So you guys have probably already seen Java players already putting out farms for the skulk and all that. And that's basically what the first part of the changelog is about for the skulk. I'm not going to read it because that's literally what it is. It's just the same thing that Java has and already has made farms for. So it's kind of, once again, squashing Bedrock players' ability to create content first. But, we're not going to say anything. And then it moves on to the darkness effect. So this is something that I believe is new. So in the Deep Dark, it's a mob effect. And it's unique to the Warden and the Skulk Shrieker. So it only affects you when you're nearby. So basically, what happens is it lowers the gamma down to moody. And that is around the player. And also, periodically, the brightness will pulse to kind of like set the mood, I guess you could say, so to speak. And basically, it just says when the Warden is around, torches are important. That's literally what it says. So really, that's not groundbreaking. It just lowers the lighting. But it's cool that we have a new mob effect in the game. So, that's something that's definitely pretty cool. So, of course, 1.18.3.2 goes through a couple more. They updated touch controls for, actual phone players. And there's a couple gameplay ones. But other than that, not that big of a deal. So this one also had a few parity changes. So this is good to see because it seems like every update now is getting some form of vanilla parity. So this one only had 5. So the first one is Shulkers now have a chance to spawn another Shulker when hit by a Shulker projectile. So, of course, that is the Shulker form that we were mentioning earlier. And there's your case in point. It does exist now. Okay, this is a really dumb one. That's kind of why you heard me say, what? But whenever a mob picks up an item, it has a slight pulling effect towards the mob. Yes, that is actually a parity change. Not the fact that, entities despawn like crazy in Bedrock Edition, but now they actually pull items toward... That's ridiculous. Blaze Fireballs deal knockback upon being hit. That's kind of going to stink, but I mean, it's not going to be hard to get used to. It's just going to be weird. Acacia trees now grow leaves on every branch below y = 0. I guess if you grew an acacia underground, it didn't grow leaves like it should. I don't know. I haven't grown any trees underground. And finally, Mobs can no longer spawn on campfires. I did not know that was an issue, but that seems really dumb that they would somehow be able to do that, so I guess that's a pretty good fix in my opinion. But yeah, guys, that is pretty much it. There's a bunch of block updates and stuff like that. Oh, this is good. So I kind of just kind of like scroll down, kind of like move my mouse wheel a little bit. But blocks such as glow lichen torches and redstone can now be placed on or attached to trapdoors. That is new. So, I mean, you guys who play Bedrock, you know that obviously, like, we don't have, like, we have to use a slab. We can't use a trapdoor to, like, hang stuff off of or, any of that. So this is actually a really big change. And I wonder if that's what it's kind of going towards. And if it is, that is awesome, because I would much rather use a trapdoor than a whole slab, because that kind of, like, throws off a whole build. You guys remember from my single-player world, which we definitely got to get back to. But well, that takes care of, the regular changes. And then, of course, it goes on to the sciencey changes. But, I mean, pretty eventful week, guys. You figure 2 beta releases. Hermitcraft Season 9. We get some information on the Allay. I mean, life is good, right? And we had a really good interview with a really good map creator. So, I mean, I'll take that. But, but all right, guys. This podcast is coming to a close, so I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, if you get the chance, go subscribe to Tor, download his map. I don't know if you can follow on Planet Minecraft, but make sure you do that. He has a Discord too, where he said that he puts out beta pre-releases. So go check out his Discord too. So, all right, guys. With that being said, I hope you remember to hit that like button, leave a comment. And as always, make sure you subscribe. I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.